I'll play it for one of the wee dolls that you get.
Put a Facebook up on your other screen, will you, David, so we get the Facebook comments. Or I'll put them up on my phone.
There you go. David McGuinness. Oh, here.
So we get the Facebook comments. Or I'll put them up on my phone. Feedback, David. Switch. Mute it.
Put it off. It's muted. It's muted.
Muted. Well, 6 years. Mute it.
Put it off. It's muted. Sorry. I was enlarging it and it came back already.
Any comments? I don't see any comments, but my bandwidth means I'm not seeing comments for Facebook anyway. Hi Ali, hi Paul, hi Stephen, hi John, hi Ruth, hi Dale, hi Mark, hi Barry, Dave, Graham, oh Caledonian vibes, Rebecca, Stuart, Fiona, Mr. E, nice to see you back. Hi Alex, Sandra, Mags. Caledonian vibes is shouting freedom. Okay. Anyway, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the Two Davies show. On Sunday, the 27th of the 11th, 2022. And what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. Hey, we're going to talk about how the Pravda is going to drop any mention of independence shortly. It will be shunted to one side, never to be mentioned again. So you ain't the add to that, David?
It is imperative that right now all the Britain Act control, the number 10 Downing Street controlled media, mainstream media, shuts up about any mention of independence. However, we had Keith Brown on BBC distorting Scotland this morning, and so the more that keeps happening, the more that we find that that is being mentioned, the thing is being brought front and centre by certain reporters, right? Well, those reporters be for or against independence doesn't matter. They're mentioning it, and it keeps airing it. So there you go. But we can see it. There is going to be an effort to shut up about it.
Yeah, apparently Thomas has posted a song in the comments. Well done, Thomas. Anyway, so as you say, it's imperative that they shut down all talk independence now, which is going to be very difficult for us to counter.
Well, okay. The only way to get around that is for the SNP to continue creating headlines that they can't ignore. Do you agree?
Apparently Gordon Ross got offered a job by MI5. I hope the wages were good.
Ask them what the terms and conditions are like. I might join myself. You never know. I'm really fucking upset the office.
Good afternoon, Isabel says good afternoon. Liberate Scots they want a reparation from the UK government for ripping off Scots Resources Splinter Salvo Group. Aye, there's a lot of them out there.
34,000 a year? Are you kidding?
They'll give me a bed for that fuck.
Like bloody hell, man, that's ridiculous. Poor wee souls, Ali. You know what I mean?
Spies, no one of our spy network shite. You don't get James Bond for that. Christ, you don't get his suit for that.
It's now put a new slant on James Bond for me if that's what they're getting paid. That is dreadful, that is.
And the Tories are in turmoil again, David. This time they're having a go at hunt over the windfall tax.
Right. And they're saying that it's going to end up in no growth whatsoever, and it's going to kibosh the entire North Sea operation. But wait a minute, they haven't had a penny of windfall tax at 25%, and they haven't changed the rules, so the same's going to apply for the 35%.
Of course it is. Just nip down to B&Q and buy a hammer. I've spent my money on equipment. I'm not paying your tax. Mental. Absolutely mental. Anyway, apparently, I mean, the Tory party right now, as you know, is in civil war. They can't even get the levelling up bill into the Parliament right now because of the amount of strife that's going on within the party. 50 MPs have written saying we want mandatory targets for building houses, which they desperately need in England.
Mm-hmm.
They want them dropped, and they, as you know, now we've got WeGov, we've got a Truss, and we've got Bojo attacking the government who are the levelling up bill as well. They want the rules banning onshore wind and solar down that road to be scrapped. Yeah. Which is actually, I mean, it's not very often you can say somebody like Bojo the Cloud Michael Gove and Truss are on the right freaking side.
It's also noted that a few of the MPs that have so-called rebelled are Red Wall MPs, and these people can actually see the writing on the wall. Reference the late 2024 or early 2025 general election. They know fine well the Tories are going to get booted, and booted well and truly, certainly in those Red Wall areas, because people will be going, well, they came in, they did bugger all, and they're going to go. So that's it.
Hey, Jen, you're right. Bond is MI6. Do beg your pardon.
How dare I mention blooming MI5? Yeah. I'll have you know, I bought a kitchen off them once.
So did the Home Secretary. The trade deal with Japan's falling apart. Why doesn't that surprise me, Robert? Tories haven't built any social housing in 12 years. Absolutely correct, John.
Now, that is something that we've got to discuss today. We've seen
the market in London.
The London Evening News that is run by George Osborne. He's the editor, isn't he, of the London Evening News?
Is he the editor of the Standard?
Is it the Standard? Who does the London Evening? Oh, it's Lebedev that owns the London Evening News, doesn't he?
Is it?
But anyway, they put up an article saying that the prices for rental have gone up. The average rental in London is £571 a week. Now that is an absolute shocker. It really, really is. You know, and it's like we're getting to the point where people, the people that actually run things, that make things happen in the city, are not going to be able to live there. And what you're going to be left with is all the sort of in between, what they call the squeezed middle, right, where they can't afford to own the great big old Victorian buildings and hire staff and have like cleaning staff that live in and all the rest of it, right? The squeezed middle are going to end up in a situation whereby they can't get any cleaners, they can't get any nurses for the hospitals, they can't, firemen to run the fire stations. So if something goes in fire in London, they're going to be lacking fire brigade to come and actually put the fire out. So London Bridge is burning down. Here we go. So it's not a good situation. In Scotland, we've got the opposite of that, where the SNP are continuing with the programme of building social housing, which is excellent and needs to be kept up, regardless of the constitutional situation right now. That has to be kept up because we also have people that need that social housing. What do you say to that, David?
Well, it's stupid as stupid does. You're going to end up with an awful lot of rich people living in the centre of London and nobody else around them to clean up their mess.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, So they just need to go and clean up their own fucking mess. Those that can afford the big enough houses will have live-in housekeepers, as you say. Those that can't, they're just going to have to do their own cleaning.
Yeah.
But a nice, interesting one there from Billy Holland, because I'm feeling quite whimsical today. I had a couple of drinks last night. He says the only thing you need to know about Westminster is 39 billion for a phone app.
Oh, yeah.
Yours can be quite funny.
Right, hang on. Right, there you go. There's your new phone app. 39 billion, please. Right.
And it still didn't fit, and it never worked anyway. So, if you're wondering about the phone app, but folks, it was their version of Test and Protect, doing their Test and Trace.
Yeah.
The phone app, and of course the Test and Trace service came to 39 billion. The equivalent in Scotland, including the app and the Test and Protect teams, a whole lot came to 121 million.
Yeah.
So if you take that at 10 times that, then £1 billion anyway, David.
Yeah.
But no 39 billion.
I think a lot of these figures are, they're shoving money out the door in different, you can imagine great big holdalls full of blooming cash getting slumped out the back door at number 10 down here. You take that quick, so we can beef this up to like 39 billion. It actually costs us £2.50 flat, but we're building it up to 39 billion, so you'll get a blooming cream off the top.
Good afternoon, Free Scotland. Yes, welcome in, mates. Welcome. Some of the stuff since Wednesday was quite funny, David. You don't think so? The Welcome to Scotland sign's been painted over Welcome to Albatross.
Ali Watson's commenting on the rental. My mate pays $3,000 a month for a 50 square metre apartment. Whereabouts, Ali? Whereabouts are we talking? We're talking about in London.
Aye.
Because
you're on some bloody wage if he's on $3,000 a month for his rent.
Aye, but at the same time, it's like we're talking about an average in London of £571 a week for a rental property. That is absolutely shocking.
Aye.
If I was looking, if the wife decided to bin my services and I was looking about for a wee rental flat, I'd be shocked at paying £500 a month.
Aye.
So, Rev of Wrestling, Jim Candle, how's got the mouth organ? Oh dear.
Hey, Danger's Giraffe, who is in America, says the US doesn't support Scottish independence because of where the nuclear weapons are stored. There is nowhere in England to put them. There was lots of places in England to put them. We just decided it was too fucking dangerous.
However, the Trident program, the Trident, as you know, is the weapon system that gets fitted onto or into a submarine, right? And the Americans stated way back, and I remember it was a quote by the chap that ran the nuclear submarine program for the United States, when he was actually talking to Congress. He said our weapon systems in Scotland are controlled by us, and therefore if Scotland becomes independent, those submarines will have space here at our place. I forget the name of the dock that he was talking about. They've got a similar setup to Fastlane across in America, and they were talking about actually taking the subs across there so they could still do their duty of like constantly out at sea. So 4 subs, 1 each.
Robert's telling us that Alex Salmond and the Alba Party want to join forces with the SNP and the Scottish Green Party for India 2. Maybe stop them.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they didn't. You know what I mean? But
stop them. But, you know, when you want to join forces with people, you still fucking slag them off and you put out a white flag and say, okay, let's sit round the table and sort this out. That's not what the Alpha Party are doing. What they're doing was, for what I can see since Wednesday, all they've done is scream for Nicola Sturgeon to resign.
Yeah, that's right. Now, we might want Nicola Sturgeon to resign at some point, but that'll be part of a plan. And it's maybe a plan I'm not too sure about at the moment, but it's something that David and I have been reading quite heavily over the past 24 hours. And it's dipping back into the 1998 Scotland Act and reading Section 3. Section 3 then leads you on to Section 46, the place of a First Minister. And basically what it's saying is that the Parliament can be dissolved providing you've got a 2/3 majority, right? Or B, if a First Minister was to perhaps resign, if a new replacement for the First Minister was not brought forth in 28 days, then in a further 28 days, an election would have to be recalled. It's simple as that. So that's possible route to a Scottish election. However, I have a worry that we end up in a situation similar to Northern Ireland, where the government come in and effectively run the devolved Parliament.
Like they did in Northern Ireland, they kicked the election a wee bit longer grass into January. They didn't fancy going up to Christmas. But they could just keep passing legislation down that road to defer an election, So it is dangerous territory, but it is doable.
Yeah.
And reading into it, David, you and I have spent the last year or so getting battered back into the Scotland Act. It's been years since I read the bloody thing. And I still don't interpret Section 30 or 34 the way the Supreme Court did, by the way.
I'm still of the mind that Nicola should go and ask King Charles to intercede, because he would, in one single blow, he would up the profile of the monarchy in many people's heads, certainly in Scotland, and may put off the idea of a republic vote sometime in the future in Scotland. So therefore, to my way, if King Charles is thinking that way, if he's worried about the longevity of the monarchy, that would be certainly one way that he could do, or one action he could make that would have a positive influence on his future.
Jen, that's a valid point. I mean, the elections are totally devolved. The laws on how many it takes to dissolve a parliament and all that could be changed.
Yeah,
could be changed by a simple vote in the parliament to say, right, it's no longer a 2/3 majority, it's just half. And we have over half the MPs, so MSPs, so it could be done. But the thing about the Charles, I would be a wee bit more direct in that. I'd just tell him fucking straight, here's a referendum bill. I'd send them a copy. Here's a referendum bill we're going to put through this fucking parliament unless you've a with your Westminster puppets.
Yeah, we're going to run two referendums here, right? And we're perfectly legal to do so, right? We're going to run one on euthanasia and the second one on the monarchy. How's about that, King Charles? Yeah. And then if he goes in, he says to the UK Tory government, right, guys.
Hold on, David. Michael says he's leaving the programme because first we said first you back Sturgeon, then you want her out, make your bloody mind up. No, nobody's even mentioned Michael Sturgeon, Nicola Sturgeon. What we said is the Alpha Party want her to resign. We don't want her to resign. It's probably all Scotland's ever had. The most popular the SNP's ever had.
No, but David, let me clarify on that. I was talking about the thing of the Scotland Act 19.
Oh, aye. He'll be crashed at Parliament through
we might. I wish your obsession with euthanasia. None whatsoever, Ali. I'm just mentioning it as being something we could run a referendum on, right? Anyway.
A referendum on everything apparently, except for independence.
Yeah. The thing about the Scotland Act is that it's a possible route is that the First Minister could resign for that to create basically dissolve the Parliament.
For an election, that's correct.
Yeah, you've misread that, Michael. You really have. All right. And apologise if I wasn't clear on that. Right, sorry. Because I wouldn't want Nicola Sturgeon to resign. Why would I want Nicola Sturgeon to resign? She's got better ratings than anybody else on these islands. Seriously, it's like you want somebody to back. You back the person that's got the best ratings in the entire UK.
Stephen Kelly brought up a point on Facebook. He said, "Could the international community and the EU not ban trade with England?" Of course, it could.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that our friends in Europe are putting pressure on their governments to turn their back on the UK because of their non-democratic principles. The EU stands on only dealing with what they consider to be at least democratic and a loose term nations. It would appear that the UK isn't a democratic nation. But they knew that anyway. First past the post isn't a very democratic way to run elections.
Yeah, but consequently, it could be construed as still being democratic because it goes to a vote. So whether it be first past the post or not, it's still considered to be a democratic method of electing a government, right?
Yes.
Internationally, right? So, but the idea of the UK government being a democratic government is no longer so because they are depriving the people of Scotland their democracy.
Yeah, man, I need to dispel this one. Jen, you rang here. David and I are no huge SNP and Nicola Sturgeon supporters. We are party members.
Yes.
That's different. There are policies that the SNP put forward that David and I both disagree with.
Yes, most definitely.
So, can I say we're huge Nicola fans? We recognise that she's a good leader. The best leader that this nation's had in the time of devolution, and she is by far the best leader the SNP ever had. Can't say I'm a fan, but can't say I'm no either. I approve of her as a leader. I tend not to be starstruck with entertainers and with politicians. They're just people doing a job to me. If they're doing it well, they get praised. If they're not doing it well, they get slighted.
This isn't and should not be construed as football politics. We do not wear a blooming football strip and run out in the field and go, "Oh, Nicola." No.
That's a good one, but it appears that England does, The Imperial Masters have got the English team playing in Scotland's colours, including the three lions on their shirt. Hey, talk about getting your slap in the face right after telling you no democratic rights.
They're telling us we are a colony by any means they can possibly find, aren't they?
Yes, symbolism's important, David. That's why they put their fucking Union Jacks and top of our public buildings. Right. It's not to show that we're a partner in a union. It's to impress their imperial majesty upon us.
Yeah. Do you know something? It's dead easy. Can I give you a simple thing to do, right? If you have a garden, right, go and get a wee bit of wood about maybe 8 foot long, something like that, by an inch, and go and buy a wee bag of post mix. Post mix will cost you £5. What it is, it's ready mixed concrete. You dig a wee hole, you shove the post mix down the hole, you shove the bit of wood into the middle of it, maybe use a spirit level. You need to just use your eyes, but use a spirit level to make sure it's dead vertical. And then pin a soul tire to the top of that. The more that you do, that people do that, the better it will be because it starts to show overwhelming support for Scotland. And if we don't start showing support for Scotland, then we're going to lose anything that we've got going here. And that brings me on to the very next thing we're going to talk about, Marco Rinaldi. David, take this up, please.
A bit early in the programme to be going on this one, David.
We can do it twice.
I'll bring it up because, folks, Marco's a good friend of David and I, and since 2014, Marco's been trying to tell people, if you want to show an appetite for independence, there's one concrete way for it to be seen, and cannot be denied. And that's for everybody to join the SNP because the number of members is ratified by the Electoral Commission. So if you really want to show an appetite for independence, hold your nose, pay your £5 a year and join the bloody SNP. It's the quickest way of getting a verifiable amount of people on the statute books.
Yeah.
It's very quick and easy to do. I mean, it's no, let's say politically, it's no easy for us all to do. Dave and I have been members for a long time, but not because we agree with their policies or we don't agree with them. We agree with some of their policies, we don't agree with them all. But the real reason why we're on board with them is because they're the party to get us out of the line of independence. Yes. And if you want to show an appetite for independence, then Marco is right.
If you figure it out,
we get Wayne's put a point up. If SNP Greens and Alba have a one-line manifesto, listen, you join the SNP, you join the Greens and the Alba Party as well. But if you want to actually show there's an appetite for independence in Scotland, then join the bloody SNP.
That's right.
Because the number of members is verifiable by the UK Electoral Commission. So with 2.25 million members, there's no argument about the appetite for independence.
Yeah, if you look at this, it is not us saying, look, you lot will all throw aside your own personal politics and you'll join the SNP. No, that's not the case. It is a means to a very definite end. Rather than the books that we all signed that went out on all the rallies and all the rest of it, you sign up to say that you want independence, all the rest of it. That's all well and good, but it doesn't create the effect that is needed. If we all join the SNP, that is a way of actually putting a number beside the number of people that want independence. Yeah? So that's all we're saying.
Robert's asking, how do you go about becoming an SNP member? You go on to www.snp.scot and the information's there.
Yep. Yep.
And Amy, you're right, keep party politics in your pocket.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. But we're not talking about party politics here. We're talking about a way of being able to show an appetite for independence that's undeniable. Because we've got the opinion polls swinging from left to right. We'll get to John Curtis shortly. And we've got the opinion polls roughly at 50-50.
Yeah.
But they get to say, nah, there's no appetite. Because sure, ask for that opinion poll, more or less dictates the terms of what's asked in the opinion poll so they get the outcome they want.
Yeah.
So, you're right, Christine, it's only £2 for pensioners and people with lower earnings to join the SNP. But if you want a verifiable way of the amount of people with a desire for independence, then they'll join the SNP. Hold your nose. If you want to join more than one party, but join the SNP at between £2 and £5 a year and £12 a year, it's a way of registering your support for independence. Whether you support for policies or no, that's up to you.
Hang on, David. Get this right. I'll tell you now, if the Alba Party were in the position that the SNP are in with regard to numbers of members and the standing of the First Minister or the rest of it, right, I would join the Alba Party straight away. Just purely something it's practical. It's just a practical thing. What we're saying is join the SNP as a member because that creates a number that can't be ignored, and it is worked out by the Electoral Commission, and they check that it's a correct number.
Somebody's missed the point here. James Lindsay, SNP had a huge membership. No, they didn't. SNP membership didn't explode from 25,500 to 126,000 until after the referendum. But we're not talking about we give them 5 mandates. They're not accepting the mandates because they say there's no appetite. A way to prove there's an appetite is to get 2 million SNP members.
That's right. That's
all we're saying.
Yeah.
And Phil says it's £2 and £5 a month, Davey. Okay then, £2 or £5 a month.
Yeah.
And £5 for a yearly membership for a pensioner, and if you're an unemployed person, then it's £12 a year for membership if you're no pension age.
Yeah. So,
see, but we don't talk about, I mean, when we're talking about joining the SNP, we're not asking you to support the policies, we're not asking you to support the principles. We're asking you to follow basically a petition.
put up Mark
A
Telfer's
verifiable petition.
David, put up Mark Telfer's comment. That's good. That's very good. Right?
SNP is like a taxi. You only need to pay the fare until destination independence. Once there, we can get in a new cab. Aye, as I say, this isn't about supporting the party. It's about holding your nose and paying £5 to show your support for independence because it's verifiable. It's like a great big petition. When they had the 2 million of a petition back, and it was the 60s that delivered that petition, 68 or something like that. When they were on the route for Home Rule, 2 million was handed into Westminster petition. No verifiable.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas
each one of the signatures on that pile of paper couldn't be individually verified. Whereas if you pay for an SNP membership, that is verified by the Electoral Commission. Can't be argued with.
No, it can't be argued with. You know.
Yeah.
And there's Paul McCracken saying that he, like most SNP members, don't interact with the party. They just pay their fees to show support for independence because it's a verifiable, countable number. It's not put in a petition. But in this case, it's the Electoral Commission that verifies that the numbers are real.
Something you might not know is that both David and I do not attend any of the SNP's local meetings. Yeah, the reason for that is because, to be honest with you, I disagree with quite a number of them.
That's the reason. The reason I don't attend is because it didn't suit my work. And when I was attending, I'm a member of North Lanarkshire Policy Forum. I hasn't met in years.
Yeah.
You know, one problem I will say about the SNP constituency network and branches is it never learned to cope with 126,000 new members.
Yeah. Yes.
It grew that fast. They didn't have change to it. They still haven't had time to evolve.
Yeah.
The constituency set up for party members or branch members, because the branches is pretty poor actually.
Can we just put up Peter Doogood's? He's right at the bottom. A Salvo Liberation Movement worth joining for free.
Join whatever you like.
Aye.
In
actual fact, we don't have any problem with people doing that. But yet again, it's down to this thing of, is it something that can be quantified properly? Yeah, we've had many such things done where people had to sign up to the Independence Declaration, and you had to put in an electricity bill or something like that, and by the time you got into doing that, people went, "Oh, what the hell, forget it," Whereas join the SNP, straightforward. You get a nice looking wee card. It's got yellow. It's got the wee SNP bug on it and things like that, So, and you've got a number. It tells you what membership number you are, right?
And that's what allows the Electoral Commission to verify it.
Yeah, that's right.
Somewhere in here, there's an SNP membership.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Have I got my SNP membership? No, I don't.
Yeah, it's nice to get through your wallet and actually find money.
That's been the big problem over the last 12 months. We've got a windy cleaner. The windy cleaner comes sort of once every 4 weeks or whatever, right? And he does the job during the
windy cleaner you've got.
And he turns up at the front door to get his £5 or whatever it is, right? And I never have any bloody money in the house because I've just been used not to using money. I need to get back into the thing of using money because this digital currency, this is becoming a real issue. And I think basically by not using cash money, we're leading ourselves, we're wandering into a situation where the British government could say, well, you're not using cash. So it's not a problem.
Aye.
And we could start this digital currency dead easy, and that would be the kibosh for a lot of people that depend on cash.
Right, talking about cash, did you see that article in the Telegraph today?
No, I didn't.
SNP indirect spending may be unlawful, says Telegraph.
Yes, I did. I saw it, yes.
Well, apparently, using our tax money, it's our tax money, mind, to prepare for independence is illegal, according to the idiots in Westminster.
I think what they were talking about was the amount of money that was spent on the action in the Supreme Court. Yeah?
Aye.
And it was £215,000 or something like that.
215, aye, something like that.
Yeah, cherry bobs, seriously. And please then tell me how much the UK government spent to avoid publishing the polling information that they had. They must have spent 9 times that just to avoid getting that published.
And they're still supposed to publish it because the High Court said it was in the interest of the people that they publish it.
That's right. Yeah.
But the amount of money that Westminster spends on astroturfing us up here, is way more than what the SNP are spending on 25 civil servants. Writing up a prospectus for independence.
Yeah.
You know, which they're claiming is costing something like 1.5 million quid a year. These civil servants must be on great money.
No, it's Gordon McKenzie just said that the civil servants are paid the same, regardless of the project they're working on.
Yes. So apparently, Scottish government spending money on anything that is the end of the global prospectus.
David, can I respond to Mad Monk? He says, is Mr. Milligan speaking to us from the past as he's in black and white? Hang on. I'll need to put a bit more light on the subject. Alexa, desk lamp on.
Doesn't help. Doesn't help. Man, you get the camera set on black and white. You're like your Peely Wally son.
That's me. I've lost all my suntan for going to Tenerife.
Aye, that's right. You're ready to go back now, David. That's bloody it. I get Leslie on the phone and tell her to get you booked up. You're needing a top up, or you could always nip round the corner to the tanning salon.
Aye, I could, I suppose. Yeah, lie there like a blown fruit pudding. Aye, fair enough. Some of the comments are very good, guys. I'm quite enjoying the comments that are coming through. Let's see if we've got anything on Facebook.
Here we go. This Wayne, you must be pretty poorly informed. We don't know what's in the polling that Westminster did. What we do know is it exists. Tommy Shepherd's been in umpteen courts to get it published. It definitely exists.
Yeah.
And why would their polling show different? Well, the answer's quite simple to that one as well, Wayne, because when you commission a poll, you basically get the result you're looking for through the framing of the question. Whereas when we have a look at like something like the social attitude study for the UK and for Scotland, both show that 61% now favour the idea of all decisions being made in Scotland. In other words, independence. And that's in our social attitude studies. You can look that up, didn't they make up? You get British Social Attitude Study 2022, Scottish Social Attitude Study 2022. The question that's asked there is, who do you prefer to make all the decisions in Scotland? And it comes out Holyrood. They don't ask the independence question. They ask, where would you like decisions to be made?
Yeah.
And 61% think the best place to have the decision made would be Holyrood. All decision making should be made in Holyrood, according to 61% of the Scottish people in the latest social attitude study. In the British attitude study, it shows the same result.
Wayne, always remember, there's an old saying that goes with this. The person that pays the piper calls the tune.
Yes.
Right? And if you are a Scotsman, Scotsman's a pro-unionist paper, right? And when they run a poll, it's like they're asked things like, who do you want us to ask? Is it A1, B1s, is it people that are very rich or whatever, the professionals or the this or the that, right? And what they do is they choose the grouping of people that are more likely to answer the question in the way that they would like that suits their particular narrative. Now, we still don't have by and large, the A1, B1s on side. It'll happen, and it will happen, but it's not happened yet. So therefore, if a polling company is asked to target A1, B1s, they still come up with like 2,000 people that have been asked, but it doesn't actually give a proper, real, balanced answer unless they produce all the data. The worst one of all for not producing data is YouGov, and YouGov is still owned by so who?
It's some Tory geezer that owns it, Tory.
Yeah, what's it called again? We did a rundown on him. His family when he came into Parliament, he gave everything to his family trust.
That's right.
And he was an owner of YouGov, and he gave that to his family trust, so he still owns it. Yeah, polls can be made to say whatever you want based on question, timing, and respondents. Yes, Phil, dead right. I agree. And Wayne's coming back with, I should point out, I worked in the market research industry for 15 years. All of these polls are a representative sample of Scotland. You really are making this up. No, Wayne, it's like, I don't know what call centre you fucking work for. It doesn't make any difference. It's like that, unless you're actually running the poll, Wayne, then you have no control over what that representative sample of Scotland is.
Yep.
Get your head at the blooming from under the door.
No, don't be rude to the audience, dear boy. Hey, what do you think? What we got? Was it over 300 million to do up Buckingham Palace in the middle of a cost of living crisis? Aye, probably. Aye, the one that was heating the stables on the public purse. Aye, that's the one.
Yeah.
No matter who you vote for, the policies you disagree with. Hey, what else were we going to talk about? John Curtis today.
Oh yes,
Professor Sir John Curtis. And let's face it, he's no real beefy anybody. He sort of sits in the fence. He's the UK's top psephologist. He's also the guy who regulates the president of the body that regulates polls. Let's see, we're talking about polls. Anyway, Sir John Curtis, the psephologist at Glasgow University, professor of politics, says that a plebiscite election is a viable way to measure opinion on Scottish independence. There you go.
Yeah. So there you go. That cannot be argued.
Nadine Zahawi.
Nadine Zahawi. That was Mr. YouGov. He actually started, along with another person, he started off YouGov. And when he got into as an MP, he gave the ownership of that and other things to his family trust. It's part of this is open knowledge. This isn't stuff that we found that's secret. No, this is stuff that you can actually look up on Google. And Nadine Zahawi, the YouGov. Now Wayne says that all of the results and all the data is published by the polling companies. That is frankly not true. YouGov, on several occasions, many occasions, have actually refused to publish the raw data that goes along with their poll. And in actual fact, they were berated by John Curtis on many occasions for exactly that, right? So
when you issue a poll finding, you're supposed to issue the methodology so you can measure it and make sure it's not been what they call doctored.
Ginger's Giraffe says, I ignore any poll that hasn't asked me. Spot on, son. Spot on.
Margaret Mackay's right. The family trust is based in Gibraltar, one of the UK's many tax havens.
That's right. It isn't the fact that his family live there. They don't. It's just that conveniently they've taken up a PO box in Gibraltar to actually handle all the trust, right? It's a phone call now. If you've got the money, things like that are just a phone call. And yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be talking about John Curtis and his proclamation the day that plebiscite election is a viable way to show the opinion of the people of Scotland on independence. That's going to upset the cuckoos in the nest.
Yes.
Because they've already set about trying to say you can't have a single issue election and that people vote in general elections on many issues. No, if you've only got one issue in the bloody ballot paper, right? No, if you've only got one line in your manifesto.
What about the interview with Douglas Ross where he was asked, well, you know, if you're saying that it's a voluntary union, can you please tell us what possible route the Scotland has to get independence? You know, and he said, oh, well, you wouldn't expect me to answer that, would you? The guy said, yes. I thought it was a great interview, or certainly on the part of the guy that was interviewing him, right? Because it really called Ross into question entirely. You know, if that's what you're saying, if you're saying there is a route and you won't tell us what route there is, then dear. Yeah, all right. Yes, I know Ginger Giraffes is from the USA and female. Fine, that's okay. My mum, don't worry about it. It's like we see lots of different names on here, right? Ginger Giraffe doesn't mean anything to me. So I now know it's female, was in America. Fine, that's okay. They have troubles of their own.
Apparently, Ross and Sarwar yesterday on This Week in Westminster was embarrassing. Ross and Sarwar are embarrassing everywhere they go.
Yeah.
I don't think Ross will be the leader of the Tory party for much longer, to be honest with you, David.
Do I know something? I honestly don't think that the Tory party, they are that worried. And I think you could see Ross being there for a good while longer, because that so long as he manages to bat off any questions, that's all that's required. That's all that's required. It doesn't matter how embarrassing it gets. The Tory party in London are not bothered about what goes on in Scotland. They really are not.
Scots MPs can't vote on matters in England which affect our Parliament constitution. Yes, they can. EVO's been scrapped.
Yeah.
EVO was scrapped under a Bojo the Clown.
Yeah.
So there's a laughing stock. What else we got in the comments? Just heard that Gordon Ross was sent an invite from MI5 as an agent to preserve. Very good. We've heard that Gordon's been contacting the MI5 to be recruited. I find that very hard, actually.
I'll be talking to Gordon later on. It's like I'll book Gordon this year to actually teach my kid to drive. Like, my kid's going to end up with blooming what is it, the James Bond type driving skills.
Colin says poverty pie. I'm dead proud of that. Everybody calls him poverty pie now. I'm dead proud of that. Everybody in Scotland calling him Dross and poverty pie. I have to say, I didn't come up with Dross, but I did come up with poverty pie. I can imagine Maggie Brennan says Gordon knocked back MI5. I'm not surprised.
Oh, that's a brilliant one by Robert Tunian. He says, by Douglas Ross's logic, I can lock my wife in a cupboard and claim she can come out any time she likes, even though I've hidden the key from her.
It's a lot of truth in that. You can't beat the comedy. Nothing else that came out of last week's court room. There's been a lot of comedy coming. You know, the outrage that I was expecting wasn't there, but the comedy and the sniping has been quite good.
Yeah.
Bro says, if you truly back Scottish independence, join the SNP, full stop, strengthen numbers. Yeah. Apparently Mark calls him poverty pie too because of me. The best one was Car Crash though. Car Crash was brilliant. Jackson Carlo, failed businessman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Failed politician, failed businessman, and alleged art thief.
He was a second-hand car salesman. That's what he was.
Aye. A failed second-hand car salesman is businessman. So, hey, failed politician, failed second-hand car salesman, and alleged art thief. Brilliant. You get some characters in the Tory party, didn't you? My favourite one, of course, is Murdo the Fud. You know, Murdo, I've lost 6 elections in a row, but I'm still in the Scottish Parliament.
I find it unbelievable that we had a situation whereby the Scotland Act was written so carefully, and yet they didn't consider somebody being on list for that number of years. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, that Murdo Fraser has been there on list. He's never actually been elected, right? He's just gone in on list.
Jenny's got a name I'm supposed to use for Rishi Sunak. It's Davy, you have to start using fishy boss. I couldn't use that sort of language, Jenny. Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
But hey, the comedy's good today. Sarwar standing at bins during Edinburgh Festival while his union friends encouraged binmen strike, and his council weren't paying him. The press SNP bad. Absolutely correct, Mark. Brilliant. Alistair Jackboot's a good one too, is it? Alistair Union Jackboot, Alistair Jackboot. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Bouncy Boy was good enough for a Daft Leonard, Richard Leonard.
Yeah.
Some of them got some cracking names, nicknames. The Greens have never been elected, but they prop up us. The minority SNP guild. That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
The Greens don't stand in constituencies. They don't. You get right, don't you? When it comes to elected representatives, there's very few of them in there for the Labour Party, or the Tory Party, or the Greens. They're all on the list.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You had to ask, Jenny. Of course you did. But I'm still not going to get to Prime Minister's questions next Wednesday and talk about Fishy Bossack.
Right, so is anything else on the list we've got to discuss?
I don't know. Nah, we've covered almost everything. We've covered joining the SNP, John Curtis, England playing in Scotland's colours, because symbolism is important. Rental problems in London, which is probably going to lead to the meltdown of the city's services, basically.
I mean, I saw this week a programme put out by Sky, was it? And it was the Canary Wharf area, and it was the company that rent their properties to people that are working in that, and they're trying to beef it up. They're trying to create swimming pool areas and jet ski setups and all the rest of it to try and attract people to rent these properties. Why? Dead simple, because I'll tell you how. In order
John's asking what would be a good name for Cole Hamilton. Well, I just call my stuff shut.
Pointless.
The proper name for Cole Hamilton is irrelevant.
Yeah. What's irrelevant? It's a big thing with a trunk, isn't it?
Anyway. Mental. Empty shirt, Stuart says.
Right, okay, we've named all the various politicians that we don't like, all right, okay. So I think, to be honest with you, we've covered it all. Unless anybody else has something that they would like us to discuss, then...
Well, I haven't heard that nobody finds that getting the jail. As far as I know, last time I looked, he was out in India as a governor or one of the provinces.
Yeah, that's right.
But he could well have been sent to jail since then, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, what would be a good name for Coham? Let's see what else we got in the comments. Sandy Coolskull. Aye. What
was the one of the previous leaders of the Lib Dems? Paddy Panstown. I thought that was brilliant. I really did. I thought that was.
My favourite one's Willie Rennie.
You
don't even have to give that guy a nickname.
I know.
You know, you just say Willie Rennie, and that's it. You know, but
oh dear.
Anyways, I've achieved up a wee bit since last Wednesday.
Yes.
But that's mainly because of the bloody comedy that's come out of the Supreme Court ruling. And the one thing I can say about it is it's gave us clarity. We now know that we're a colony for exploitation.
Yeah, we've covered the various routes that we've got on Thursday's programme, so that's the reason why we didn't cover it so much on this programme. It would have been pointless to do so. In actual fact, now what we're looking to happen is that a few of our boffins, for use of a better word, come out with the definitive answer, the route that we should go. However, I still say the King Charles route. After I'd written the mini blog on it, the post on it, I thought to myself, it can't be that simple, surely. It just cannot be that simple. But generally, the simple answers work.
Aye.
And that's from an engineer, you know.
Everyone would like us to do a future show on our economic future. It would be something to get people off the fence if we talk about Scotland's vast resources and wealth and how it can be used. We'll give it some thought, everyone, but I think we've covered it already, but we could always go back to it again.
Today I have contacted Angus Brendan McNeil. I would like him to join us as a guest on a future programme, because Angus has been bleating on about a plebiscite for a long, long time, and he also was on about the rules and all the rest of it regarding the Scotland Act and how it would work, all the rest of it, right? So I want Angus on this programme. I've got his constituency office number. I've got his email address. So this week I'm gonna get my head down and I'm gonna try and contact the guy as best I can. But he generally does respond to me when I put stuff up on Facebook. So we'll see what happens there. Angus is also a sense of humour, and I would say he would be a good person to interview. If I can get my head around the blooming his accent at times, because he's got a proper Western Island blooming accent. I find it difficult to put into my Glasgow brain, you know.
Hey, Mark Telford has got a crack there. Willie Rennie, ironic that he is both the symptom and the cure for acid reflux. Brilliant. Yeah. James, I must have missed your previous comment, because you see something about you can't see the SNP doing something, can I? No, I don't really know. I must have missed an earlier comment. I'll scroll back so I can see it, because I don't really know how to respond to that.
Gordon, you put up a wee comment that Angus Jemmy will take part, I'm sure. If you know him, please ask him to respond to my Facebook thing that I put up, asking him to join in on a future Two Davies programme. And basically what I've asked him to do is, in first instance, is to PM me, and I'll provide him with my telephone number and we can arrange. Okay?
We can even date on a day that suits him.
Yeah, that's right.
Before 6 o'clock in the evening. You generally work from home. I don't start till 6 in the evening.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but I do have his in London, his telephone number in London. So I will be trying to contact him that way. I just feel it would make for a good programme, and it would maybe create a bit of clarity as in what he's actually saying. It would be good for all of us to hear. Okay. We Mary Black would be good or not? Yeah, I totally agree, Chris. Absolutely. But at the moment, it's Angus that has actually come out with things on this plebiscite, and it's important. He's been going on about it for a long, long time. So I think we just need to get it from the horse's mouth, let's say.
I see what you're talking about now, James. It was Davy saying to go down the King Charles route to hold under it. He can't see the SNP doing that. Fair enough.
James, if, David says anybody could make contact or get a contact to Prince Charles. However, I think we're all practical people here, and it would be sensible if it was the First Minister that asked to have a meeting with him. He would agree to a meeting of that sort, and it would behoove her to actually.
Ricky's advocating a federalism. Kurt Ball renegotiate the treaty, asked the UN to be involved. Everybody inside the 4 nations borders belongs to host nation, meaning your own nation, and we only just share defence. Well, defence sharing is quite common right across many nations. That's what NATO was all about. It's supposed to be a defensive alliance, although sometimes I reckon they're a wee bit aggressive in their posture in NATO, but that's the way it is. It wouldn't be hard to become but federalism is not going to fly. Westminster's not in the business of relinquishing control. Simple as that. England doesn't have enough money to stand its own 2 feet. It requires the resources of the colonies of Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. And when it comes to calling them colonies, we can now call Scotland and Northern Ireland certainly colonies because we are in this union by treaty. And if the Supreme Court ruling on Scotland means anything, that must mean the same in Ireland, except for they've got a wee clause saying that they can have a referendum on reunification every 7 years, whereas we've just shut up and get back to our box.
Jim Campbell says, Milligan, do you need a Willie Rennie? No, we're not in the...
That's why the bloody irrelevant.
Yeah, we are not in the business of taking piss out of people that come onto the programme.
You could, if you go with Willie Rennie onto the programme, David, I'd just snooze all the way through it. You'd need to date yourself. Do you know how I'm on with Lib Dems? Irrelevance just sort of, it's
Stop it. I'll try to keep a straight face here. All right.
Right, guys. We're coming to we're on Marua. We're on Marua, Mark, and Davies got work to go to.
Yeah, just reiterate one thing about, just do a wee quick couple of lines on why people should join the SNP at this moment in time, regardless of what their politics is.
Well, the reason why they should join is because it's verifiable by the Electoral Commission. If there's 2.5 to 2.25 million SNP members, there is no argument about an appetite for an independence referendum. So it's basically just a big petition that's verifiable by the UK government.
Correct.
So we know we can't get everybody to do it, but Marco's been banging on about this since 2014. He's right. Yeah. The easiest way to show the appetite for independence for everybody to get behind the one political party, the big one for independence.
You need all to push the one door. It's as simple as that.
Everybody's going to get their shoulder at the same fucking wheel. Pardon my French, I've been doing well today, I've not sworn much. Anyway, it's time to round this up, David. So remember, folks, if you're on Facebook, give me a couple of minutes to change this to public if you're going to share it. And if you are on YouTube, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button, and you'll be notified when the Two Davies channel goes live, whether it's the Indie Truck Davy broadcast during the week or whether it's the Two Davies Thursday and Sunday. Okay. Now, once again, thank you very much for joining us in such large numbers. As far as I can see, we've got 174 watching live. So thanks very much. And all it's left to say is...
Bye, Davy.
Bye, Davy.